I wanted to leave an important note for our listeners before we dive in. This episode does contain sensitive content from a personal testimony, and some might find it triggering. It's always our goal to create a safe space for stories to be heard. And with that said, please continue only if it feels safe to do so.
Welcome to the Conscious Matchmaker. I'm your host, Sophie Singer, founder of Sophie Love, alongside Elizabeth Foster, lead executive matchmaker and conscious date coach. We'll explore conscious dating, which extends beyond the realm of romantic relationships. We'll help you break down the subconscious barriers that have held you back from experiencing the love and connection you truly deserve. Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone. So today we're going to share our client Rachel's story about experiencing uncertainty and shame around starting a family, not having started a family yet, how that conversation and how that connection actually played out versus how it could have. Also, I just want to let you guys know, obviously, we do not share our clients' names or details. We change everything to protect people's privacy. But these are real life stories from the field, from our clients that we think would be really relatable and really bring light to the topics we think are most important on people's dating journeys. So let's dive in. So we've got our client Rachel here. She's in her early 40s. She always wanted to have a family. She froze her eggs. She's a studio executive, so really professional, wonderful. And we set her up with David, who's about 50. He also always wanted a family, never been married or had kids, but always something that he wanted. So we set them up on a date. They both had a great time, really enjoyed it. And we always do feedback as best we can with our clients. And so we got David's feedback, and his feedback was that, yeah, he had a great time, but Rachel seemed a little bit unsure about starting a family. And, we got Rachel's feedback, and her response was, yeah, she had a great time. And she wasn't really sure where David's doubts were coming from because she does really want a family. So, in talking to both of them, what we understood was that, Rachel expressed herself in a way that said she wants a family if she meets the right person, right? And David heard this and interpreted it as Rachel wasn't really prioritizing starting a family. But the reality is that Rachel really actually deeply does want a family, but she's unsure if that will happen for her, which is pretty common. Lots of our clients have dealt with things like that. And, to both of their credits, they hopped on a phone call. Rachel clarified her desire around family and made it really clear that, yes, that is what she wants for her future. But even still, David still kind of felt like there was uncertainty. And actually, it was triggered by his own insecurities about his age and also having not had a family yet, right? What this really highlighted here is the difference and the dissonance between, what Rachel said and how she truly feels about having a family. So, we suggested some more openness about these insecurities and maybe, having some openness about how she's, feeling like this might not happen. It actually could have led to deeper connection. Because she guarded her true feelings, it created this energetic distrust, right? Which David picked up on, and this isn't something new. Sophie, how many other examples do we have of clients who have experienced something like this?
Yeah, I hear about this happening all the time. And this happens just in regular conversations, not just in dating too. There is the what that we say, and there's the how, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we say may be one thing, but if the energy behind it doesn't align with what we're saying, that is something that the other person will either consciously or subconsciously pick up on. It's an energy, right? It's just, you can bring in the simple example of asking someone, are you okay? And they're like, I'm totally fine. And you just know they're not fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Right. And immediately, right. And so this energetic dissonance that happens, it happens all the time. And it happens on dates often because people are actually scared and ashamed to share their true feelings. Like, you know, Rachel was actually feeling like shit, like a family might not happen for me. I mean, that's the running story for her and many women in their early 40s who froze their eggs and haven't had kids yet. They're like, that ship may have sailed. And that is hard to accept and also just hard to even reveal and talk about. They feel ashamed. Yeah. And so even though they might be saying one thing on a date, the energy behind it is totally different. So some other scenarios that come up are, I mean, I've talked to hundreds of people in my career who are in between jobs or they don't like their current job. Is that a deal breaker? Should I share that? They don't want to show up as the person who is the Debbie Downer complaining about their work, isn't satisfied with their career. Somehow that makes them less desirable. So another one that I hear all the time is people who, like clients and matches and members and coaching clients, who share that they have not really ever had a long-term relationship, or it's been a really long time since they've had a long-term relationship. Like it's been 10 years, it's been 8 years, it's been 11 years. I just had a client that we kicked off just the other day, and we're doing digital matchmaking for her. And she's divorced and she has kids that are now teenagers. But she said, it's been 11 years since I've had a really serious relationship. Do you think men are going to think I'm damaged goods? And that's the story that's running for her. And I said, well, let's go down that trailhead. Like, let's explore that story, because that's the energy that's going to show up. And really, of course, she's not damaged goods. She got divorced. She had 2 young children. She was raising them basically on her own. So of course she didn't have time for a relationship, but in her mind, that's a story. And that's something she feels ashamed about. And so the story carries the energy, and that's what they show up with on these dates. Another one that we've encountered, that I encountered about a year ago, was a client who came along who had a genetic medical condition. And although it wasn't too very debilitating for her just on an everyday basis, this was something that was genetically passed down. It could be life-threatening for her. It could shorten her lifespan. And it did actually, so sadly, take the lives of other people in her family, a parent, a sibling. And it was her health struggle. And this is something that she felt so deeply ashamed around and had so much grief around. She felt like she couldn't share it with anyone. She told us she had relationships with men who didn't even know that she had this disorder at all. And they had been together for like a year, because she felt like it was a true danger. She said, anytime I would think that it was time to tell the person, it's like danger zone. Like, this is too heavy. This is too heavy for them. I'm too much for them. Me, my medical condition, the loss, the grief, like it's too much. Right. And this is the story, and this is the energy she kept bringing on to dates and just to every even her friendships. There were friends she had that did not know about this. And the thing is, it's almost like the longer and the more you carry something like this in the dark, it grows. The shame around it grows. It festers in the shadows when there is no light brought to this. And so I'm going to actually share something really personal, because this was my story. And this is the story and the shame that I carried around. And it was so impactful and made my dating journey so difficult. And also every relationship that I ever had after I was 17. Are you feeling emotionally fatigued and burnt out from dating apps?
Are you looking for a more meaningful and human way to connect with people? Modern dating has become transactional and evaluative versus nourishing and connecting. We log into dating apps and essentially shop for our ideal life partner based on a checklist. But love is a feeling, not a formula. Welcome to Closer by Sophy Love, where people meet in a conscious and authentic way. Our Closer events aim to rehumanize dating by bringing a sense of openness, compassion, and joy to the process of human connection. Join us at Closer and experience a new way of connecting. Discover the joy of genuine conversations, heartfelt connections, and the possibility of finding someone special. Take the first step towards a more meaningful dating journey with Sophy Love. So when I was 17, my parents got divorced and my mother left my father. And my father, and this is a very abridged version, and I will share more as we record more episodes and in other ways. But basically, my father really kind of just didn't take it so well. And he legally purchased a firearm and he murdered the man that my mother left him for. Oh my goodness. And this happened at age 17. And that moment, I will say that the point of me sharing this right now is in that moment, I became the daughter of a murderer. That was it. And I said the next day, I said to my friends, who the hell is ever going to want to marry the daughter of a murderer? Like when I was telling them the story of what happened the night before. And that was a story and I carried that, decades. Mm-hmm. And even after I met my husband, I carried it and hid it and fiercely guarded it and managed it because of what I thought others were going to think or how they were going to react to me or like me or not like me or accept me or whatever it was. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I've done so much healing around that now and continue to, but I'm sharing it because I really kind of what I want to do right now towards now at the end of this episode, I just really want to encourage people to really sit with this and think about what questions on a first date do you dread? Like, what are you like, oh, I hope they don't ask me that. Because I knew what mine were and I had the perfect answer. Not perfect, what I thought was the best possible answer I could have given to, so where do your parents live? Oh, well, yeah, my parents got a divorce and I don't talk to my dad and I'm very close with my mom. And my dad lives in Northern California. What I was actually saying is my dad's in a federal penitentiary, convicted of first-degree murder. Right. So that, I had like my version, right? So I'm curious to know, and I always dreaded that conversation. Oh, you don't talk to your dad. Why don't you talk to your dad? Okay, cool. How much am I going to reveal? So I encourage you though, what are the questions that you just don't ever want to answer on a first date? What are the parts of your story and your life and yourself that you're actually scared to reveal? Is it that you're still single? Is that you haven't been able to find your person, that you always wanted kids and you think it might never happen? Is it that you hate your job? Is it that you're estranged from your parents or a sibling? Is it that you have some sort of medical condition? Yeah. Is it family trauma? Is it that you were abused? Is it that you did something that you think was bad or you're ashamed of? Just be honest with yourself. And when you identify those questions, I encourage you to just sit and then ask yourself, what am I scared will happen if or when I reveal these things? When if I have to answer these questions honestly on a first date, what is the response that I am scared of? And so I really invite you to consider the idea that these are the stories and these are the parts of you that are actually blocking connection. This is where the work is.
So powerful. We all have this. We all have it in one way or another.
Yeah, we all carry these stories and these fears of revealing. Liz, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for sharing your story too. So
oh,
this is It's so powerful and it's so important.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really finally getting to this place now where not only am I not scared to reveal and share this story, but I'm actually feeling called to share it more and more. Yeah, it's very empowering and hopefully a beacon of hope and for resilience of the human spirit. Thanks for being here to listen, Liz, and all of you out there. Sending lots of love and warmth your way. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Conscious Matchmaker. Dating and relationships are a vehicle to your healing and growth. If you're on a journey to experience conscious love and authentic connections, remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, I'm Sophie Singer, the Conscious Matchmaker, sending love your way.